Everyone needs a little kickstart at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so head to Sonic of Harrisonville and kick away the afternoon fog. Grab an ice-cold drink full of caffeine and kickstart your afternoon and evening. The best part, 2 to 4 is happy hour, and drinks are half price. Grab an afternoon snack of cheesy bites or jalapeno poppers, or order on the app for happy hour anytime. Sonic Happy Hour, where you kick away the fog. Also, visit 4ts.com and sign up for the Sonic Kick Return Contest.
One of the most important decisions you make is who cuts your hair. Don't trust just anyone. Trust Josh and the crew at Fades. From a simple cleanup to a full cut. Or maybe you need to look extra good for the big game with a design. They will take care of you. Coach Grammer trusts the guys at Fades, and so should you. Located just behind Sonic off McGuire. Go see them today or visit their Facebook to set up an appointment.
Before every big purchase, you have to prepare. Prepare the easy way by calling Harrisonville's Farmers Insurance agent, Brad Sainer. Brad will make sure there are no holes in your coverage and take care of you with any lives mishaps. Prepare for great insurance coverage by calling Brad Sainer at 816-974-8105. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum-ba-dum.
At Rise Community Services, we believe in giving individuals the opportunity to increase their skills, empower their choices, and achieve their dreams. Our team provides opportunities that create perfect lives with inclusive programs connecting individuals to their community.
Hey, I'm Travis. I took a shot with Rise and it was a slam dunk.
Are you traveling far and wide looking for someone to service your vehicle and get new tires? Stop. The best place is right around the corner at Tilden's Quick Lube and Tire in Holden. Right on 58 Highway, they can get you in and out in no time and treat you like family. With 15 years in the business, Charlie and his staff will make sure you get taken care of honestly and fairly. So next time you need service, save the time, gas, and travel around the corner to Tilden's Quick Lube.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to day number 3 of the William D. Gordon Holiday Basketball Classic. It is championship day of the holiday tournament, and we are excited to get on to the winner's side of the bracket. We've had 2 7th-place games, 2 consolation games here today. Coach Gordon's going to come up and join us here in a minute. I didn't want him to fall off of his chair over here because that would not have been good. But we've had some good games today. The 7th-place girls game won by Kingsville. The 7th grade boys game won by Miami. The consolation girls by Chilhowie and the consolation boys by Heartland. Now we get into the winner's bracket, and we have a game between KIPP Legacy Academy and the Cass Midway girls, who we'll talk about here in a couple of minutes with Coach Gordon. Gave them a run for the money a little bit last night. And then also we will have the Drexel girls taking on, now I about had a brain fart there, Casey Lutheran for the championship. And then on the boys' side, Drexel and Midway for the championship, and Casey Lutheran and Windsor for 3rd place. And I'll bring in Coach Gordon. Coach, been a great 2.5 days, and now we're down to the nitty-gritty.
Yeah, it's time for championship basketball. We're on that winner side of the bracket. Got this 3rd-place game getting ready to go down, and it's changed the format up a little bit this year. Instead of going 4 days, we went 3 days, and it's been a little bit easier on these old bones. But I think we're all ready for the last 4 games, and we'll sleep in the morning. At least some of us will.
Speak for yourself. I was actually talking to my wife when she was here today, and I said, you know, what's the plan for tomorrow? They're already on their way to Branson. Heck, they're probably about halfway there by now. And I was like, what's your plan for tomorrow? You know, do I need to be down there at like 9 o'clock, so I need to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning? And I was hoping she'd be like, well, just when you get up, head down. And she was like, well, yeah, preferably. So
yeah.
I guess I will be leaving early in the morning to go down and spend the holiday weekend with the family.
Well, you've done a great job, and hopefully your wife be nice enough to let you take a nap or something at some point. So
another thing we got. I was just showing Coach the Rise and 4Ts Boys Players of the Week for the William D. Gordon Holiday Classic. And what's special about these to me, what's cool about these, so Rise is a company, is a business that they specialize in handicapped and special needs people, and they get them places, and they get them work, and they give them places to live. They do a great job with all of that, and I just thought these were awesome that they made those, so that was really cool.
that is really cool.
Cool as well, so it really goes along with what they're doing. And
Chad, can you hold those up in front of the camera? Let's.
there's the back of one, and there's the front of one.
Keep talking.
And it just
We're models now.
We're models. I feel like Bob Barker's Beauties over here showing people. Some of the people watching are going, "What's Barker's Beauties?"
Yeah. We're aging ourselves a little bit there.
But nevertheless, it's really cool. We could add that to it this year, and there's some very, very solid candidates on both sides of that.
I'm telling you what, there's
this.
some kids that have stepped up this week that, we'll talk about Midway here in a little bit, but, they had a girl step up last night that kind of came out of nowhere on our radar in number 10, Jaden Swartz. She had a great game and gave us a little bit of fits as we weren't she really wasn't on our radar. And we've seen kids like that step up this whole tournament, and some kids have had career nights so far in this tournament.
Speaking of Schwartz, she had 14 last night, and she was one. It was kind of funny, you say that. Watching them play last night, and I've always been one of those. I've been broadcasting for so long. I've always had this theory and this saying: the longer you let an underdog stick around,
Absolutely.
the harder it is for them to go away. And they did it about 2.5, 3 quarters. They did a really good job of hanging in there. And I said in the third quarter, late third quarter, I was in that game. I said, I just feel like there's this top's going to blow off here at any moment. Then fourth quarter came, and there was this light switch came on a little bit.
There's a lot of mutual respect between Drexel's women's basketball program and Midway's women's basketball programs. Coach Richardson does a great job there. Actually, Izzy Richardson is his niece. I feel like we probably could have done a few things to maybe run that thing out a little bit quicker than we did. But some of that is just trying to be good sports, not trying to say that they didn't give us everything they got. But there were some instances in there, I think, that we probably could have went full court pressure. That probably would have helped a little bit more. But we got another game to play, too. So we got to keep that in mind with energy levels. So.
Well, and my thought process on that, too, we talked a little bit about it earlier today, and my thought process probably for you in that situation is make them work, make yourselves, your own kids work a little bit in pressure situations.
Yeah.
Because, you get into lulls in the season sometime where you may have a couple of weeks, and no disrespect to the 4 teams you may play in a 2-week period or 5 teams, but you may win 5 games by 45 points, and you've got some kids in there, and then your starters aren't getting a whole lot of reps.
And it's easy to lose that edge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So to see them and to have them work through that, I think, was probably something that you enjoyed watching them last night at times. And, of course, at times you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah, for sure. But, as a coach, that's that thin line you always tread on that. How much is too much? Are you getting good minutes with the kids that you got out there? One of the things that we decided to do last night was, with about 30 seconds left in the third quarter, I sat Wheeler down, give her that extended break. As we went through the break, going into the fourth quarter, I was kind of like, let's go another minute. Let's go another minute. Then I called the full timeout to give another minute, and then about 30 seconds later we put her back in because – you never know. I mean, I tell the girls all the time, next one up, you have to be ready to go because it could be foul trouble one night. It could be injury. You could have the flu. It could be whatever it is. You never know. So, plus playing back-to-back nights, you have to be a little bit careful. I mean, these are teenagers, and they do recover a lot faster than this old guy does. But at the same time, it's a lot of minutes in a week, and so It worked out.
And I will say, from my perspective of coaching in this tournament, I was really proud of my kids' effort on, we're on the other end of the spectrum. We've talked about that before.
Yeah.
But the effort that they had against Drexel in the second half and working on man-to-man, and the effort we had against Kingsville, and there was no effort there today. And I'm not saying no effort. They were just sluggish. They were just kind of there. And I was like, what are we doing, guys? And you can get that from time to time. And what I told my kids was, hey, I know you're tired. I get it. There's only 6 of us. But guess what? Every other team in this tournament has played, 3 games in 4 days too. So they're going to be tired as well. And
it is true. And it's hard to, I learned a lot actually from this tournament last year, which helped us in the district tournament later in the year about how to manage those minutes a little bit better. Now in the district tournament, we didn't ever go back-to-back days. But in this tournament, we did. And it was, I learned a little bit about kind of managing that and keeping them where they needed to be and still trying to keep that edge, but keeping everybody on the bench sharp too.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how these championship side of the bracket games that they kind of shake out. Are we going to see, and I think in a couple of times we have seen a situation where there's tired legs. I saw it in my game with my kids.
Yeah.
I saw it a little bit in the 7th place or the 5th place girls game. And I'll be interested to see. Now, that said, usually when you get to the winner side of the bracket, a lot of times you have players that are used to playing all year round.
Yeah.
And so you may see a little bit of a difference.
And there's a little bit more to play for too. You know, that motivation. You're playing in a championship game, you better not be getting tired. That's my philosophy, but you gotta get the girls to do the same thing. So
I am 100% on board with that. So I'll be interested to see how this one shakes out. I mean,
strategies. That's what I'm looking for. How are they going to come out here? Because is KIPP going to come out with their press, and can Midway handle it? And if they do, then what KIPP's going to do? You know, because we saw their press was effective against KC Lutheran. And they kind of went away from it, came back to it, got the game close, but weren't able to get over the top. So I'm very interested in seeing how this plays out in the early minutes.
I will too, and I'll be really interested to see how the I'm not going to let you give anything away, but I'm going to be interested to see how the start of that Drexel KC Lutheran game starts out myself.
Yeah, well, I've got some ideas, and I think you might be a little bit of surprise how this thing's going to go. Now, we'll see, but I still got a couple hours to change my mind.
Hey, I had a couple of good ideas today, too. It didn't pull out the way I wanted it to.
Hey, listen, I got to give you some kudos, though. Your kids did play hard. I know they were tired. You only got 6 of them. I've been in that boat. We've talked about that 2 or 3 years ago. That's what I had, and we were building the program back up to what it is now. But it is – I had a great mentor tell me one time. He said, listen, did the kids give you everything they had? And if you can answer yes to that, then you did okay. Because sometimes you just don't have the talent to match up.
And I talked to him at halftime. We'll get into that as this game goes on. I talked to him at halftime. One of the things I talked to him about was I could see in their eyes they really were trying to give me effort, but they just didn't have it in the tank at that point in time.
And that does happen too.
So here we go. Off and running underneath McDonald for an easy 2 to start. And here comes the pressure.
Yep, they brought the press.
And there's a steal by Black underneath to McDonald, and then stolen away and thrown out of bounds, and it will stay with KIPP Academy.
I'm not sure I've ever seen a girl get a steal on her back and then throw it out of bounds like that, but
nice cut to the basket by Phoenix for 2, and it's 4-0 early. And that one is thrown into the backcourt. Dean with it. Going to try to push it up, and she is hammered at half court.
Let me tell you something about Black. Dean, though. She has grown a lot since last year. I don't mean physically, but mentally. She is tough, and she is going to be a good player. I believe she's still just a junior.
Get the ball in and hit up the floor. Kuntz with it.
Yeah, Kuntz didn't play last night against us. She had rolled her ankle, so we'll have to see how she does today with that. I'm sure it's still sore.
Yeah, now that you say that, I didn't even pay attention to that last night, and then now you say, I was like, yeah, she didn't. So here they go. There's partially blocked. Black going to bring it the other way. 4-0 early lead. Underneath they go. That one's tipped up out of bounds and off of KIPP Academy or KIPP Legacy. I always want to say KIPP Academy.
I can't say it right. I just say KIPP because I always mess it up.
I either say KIPP or I try to say KIPP or the Lady Gators.
Okay, Lady Gators, there you go. Yeah, Midway's coached well, I'm telling you. I know we talked about that earlier, but they'll figure out the pressure. There's Schwartz. That's what I was talking about from last night. She had a really good game, somebody that has really improved over last year.
So across the timeline they go with it. Hunt with it out front between the circles. 6:35 to go here first quarter. Black to the wing right side. Now back between the circles over to the left side wing. With it is Atkinson. Now back between the circles for Hunt.
You know, with KIPP, I kind of feel like that the half-court set is where they do struggle. If you wanted to pick out a weakness, their half-court offense. But you got to remember, they're all freshmen and sophomores too.
Yeah, and I hadn't even glanced at that until yesterday, and somebody had pointed it out on the broadcast on our little chat. And then you say, "You right there." Then they go high-low, and they get a good.
Yeah, and then they get an awesome look. Maybe better than any look we got last night. No, it's a school that. Oh. And then one. Schwartz again. But it's a school that last year they played JV. This is their first year of having varsity. They're getting into the varsity level slowly. So all these girls will be back next year. And they've got a bench load of them. So they've got numbers, and they'll be a force to be dealt with, I believe, in the future.
So 6-5 score. Schwartz with all 5 for Midway. And we're going to go back the other way.
You can trust me as a coach. We'll be doing something a little bit different against Schwartz next time we play them.
Now, do you get them in the regular season?
We do. We have them. It's one of our second to last conference games.
So they get it inside, and it's tipped out of bounds.
That's one of those road trip games. It's just down the road, so it almost feels like a home game. It's not a long bus ride.
Coach, what happened that they were able to be in the conference?
In the conference?
Yes. I thought you said they would be a conference game.
No,
Midway. Midway.
I was curious what conference they are
I'm not
in.
sure because they're an affiliate school, but I don't think they're a full-fledged membered school. So I'm actually not 100% sure. We just put out a feeler that we needed one more team, and they were the first to respond, and we made it happen, and they're here, and they're competing.
Black with another bucket. It is.
She's a solid player, isn't she?
Absolutely. And, you know, you got to feel 3 by Phoenix rattles home.
It was also
14-5. And we got a timeout on the floor as KIPP Legacy Lady Gators come out quick. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back after this.
Everyone needs a little kickstart at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so head to Sonic of Harrisonville and kick away the afternoon fog. Grab an ice cold drink full of caffeine and kickstart your afternoon and evening. The best part, 2 to 4 is happy hour, and drinks are half price. Grab an afternoon snack of cheesy bites or jalapeno poppers, or order on the app for happy hour anytime. Sonic Happy Hour, where you kick away the fog. Also, visit 4ts.com and sign up for the Sonic Kick Return contest.
All right, welcome back. 5:07 to go here in the first quarter. A 14-5 Midway lead. Houston gets it over to Burchett. She goes inside for Schwartz. Knocked out of bounds. And will stay with Midway. Houston gets it no good. That one's off. Kicked out of bounds. And then you may know these names better than I do, so if I say
I
one.
don't know. I was actually trying to figure out what grade she was in.
Black has the rebound on the backside. I think I've said it about.
Okay.
I think I've said it about 15 different ways.
No. I think you're right. I just I feel like she is a player that is going to be a force to be reckoned with as she gets older too. She's just a sophomore. She did a lot of good things last night, too. She gets back to being able to use that board a little bit more down low, finds her touch a little bit. She'll be a pretty solid player.
So Phoenix with 5, Black with 5, and Phoenix at the line for a pair. First one no good. One more to go here.
You know, I tried to fill in for you the other night. I could not keep up with the stats and watch the game at the same time. So kudos to you for being able to know how many points everybody has.
Well, I've found in my broadcasting that I have to keep track of the points as I go. If I don't, I lose track of what's going on in the game.
Yep, I'm with you.
And it helps me learn the names a lot faster and quicker. So Burchett inside to Schwartz, no good. Rebound Atkinson ahead to Black. Black looking to run the floor. Oh, tried to thread the needle there and gets knocked away, but chased down in the corner by KIPP Legacy, and they got it. Now to the wing, now to the elbow for McDonald. She's going to dribble drive, no, and she goes to the free throw line for a pair. I'm going to be, you know, we talked about following teams after this, you know, tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be really interested to follow them not only this year, but over the next 2 years and watch their progression.
Yeah.
And maybe, hopefully, they'll be in the tournament the next couple of years.
I hope so.
And see these girls progress and see if they can stick together and play for the next couple of years, because only sophomores and freshmen.
And they've got some skilled players. Yeah, number 3, I'm trying to find her in the program here.
Black, yeah.
Black. Something crazy will have to happen for her to probably not make the all-tournament team, because she has had a solid tournament.
And Phoenix with another triple.
Phoenix, too. She's had a great tournament. She's a nice shooting guard.
18-5. Now, that was the one. If I saw a couple of things in the game last night with Lutheran and with KIPP, I felt like Lutheran did a good job of taking her out of her element. They were kind of physical with her, and they got her in foul trouble. And I think that took her out of her element a little bit. Full court pressure still being applied, and there's another step in by Atkinson with the steal, and then a travel by Hunt on the far side. 18-5, a 13-point KIPP lead early in this one. And that was the one thing that they did a really good job on her last night. It was hard to slow down Black. It's been hard to slow her down in all of the games. So, and if you let her get going outside and with her dribble drive.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing, though, too, about that game. I thought the senior leadership from the 2 guards, Schuster and Brumley, kind of shined through in that and kind of willed them to that championship game, because there was a couple of times where they could have folded and they did not.
And, you know, I said on the broadcast last night, one of the things I saw with Brumley always plays even keel. There's never an up or a down. And I saw her get fiery in the fourth quarter. That was the first time in 2 years. I said, it's fun to do this tournament because you see the same kids over and over.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's the first time in 5 games that I've called to hers that I've seen her get fiery.
She got a little fiery last year in the championship game against us. Excuse me. But I think we're going to get her best ever. This is her last year. She's a senior now, and I think we'll for sure get her those 2 guards' best effort tonight. Another travel.
Travel underneath by McDonald.
You know, if you're pressing, though, that's not the worst thing in the world, because you can still set your press up out of that and just tell them, get it back.
It's too early for me to be yawning, boys.
It's late in the week. It's late in the week.
That was no good. Rebound again. And sometimes, you know, one of the things that when we talk about press, we'll talk about it after this possession here. 3 ball by Black. No good, a little bit short. Rebound by Parks to Kunsten to bring it back the other way with 2:58 to go. Sometimes all you need your press to do is not to get a turnover, but force a silly fast shot too.
Yeah, but try getting that across to your players, because that's what I got to tell them all the time. It's like, listen, I'm not looking for a steal and a layup every time I want to press. If you can get them to throw the ball over or just make them work 9 seconds to get the ball across the half court, eventually they'll get tired, and eventually they're going to throw it away.
So you need to make them listen to this broadcast right now, because here's what I'm going to tell you about the press. As a team that's on the opposite end of presses every night because we struggle, I have to call timeouts every time there's another 3 no good by Black. I have to call timeouts every time, and I have to tell them, hey, guys, you're doing exactly what they want. You're just spazzing out and running up and down the floor and forcing your own turnovers. They're not doing it for you. So tell them from another coach's perspective, say, hey, go listen to that KIPP Academy game. Coach Graham will tell you how it is.
Absolutely.
Another layup and bucket. I believe that was Black on that one as well.
I think it was, yeah.
Makes it 20-5. She's got 7, 9 from Phoenix, and it's a 20-5 score with 2:14 to go in the first. We'll take a full timeout ourselves after this.
One of the most important decisions you make is who cuts your hair. Don't trust just anyone. Trust Josh and the crew at Fades. From a simple cleanup to a full cut. Or maybe you need to look extra good for the big game with a design. They will take care of you. Coach Grammer trusts the guys at Fades, and so should you. Located just behind Sonic off McGuire. Go see them today, or visit their Facebook to set up an appointment.
All right, welcome back. 2:14 to go here, first quarter. I feel like this has been a long first quarter.
It really has. Some of these first quarters we've had have flown by, but this one has taken a little bit of time.
And there's a steal. That was a steal by, we got new into the ballgame. That is James. She got the steal and threw it underneath to Phoenix for 2, and it's 22-5. 22-7.
Schwartz got that one.
After Schwartz. See, now this is where it gets hard when you're trying to write down.
Well, I'm telling you, I don't know how you'd even do it when somebody's pressing. And if both teams are pressing, it would be chaos.
There's a travel turnover back the other way. One of the two things that I love about it is I can see the points, I can see the free throws, but I also keep a running score. So I can see that, oh, wow, it was a 10-0 run or 12-0 run without having to think back if they've scored in a while.
Yeah, I do that when I stat my games afterwards when I'm watching them because it's important to see. You know, like last night we scored 14 points in every quarter, exactly 14 in every quarter. But it was how much did we give up and the stretches and what did we do in those stretches that I like to go back and look at.
Whitecraft goes to the line after the dribble drive. She'll have a couple there, and it is good to be able to see that. I mean, to know, guys, you know, I told them last night, our guys, I said, we played Kingsville. We had a 3-minute stretch in the first quarter where they pressed us, where they didn't necessarily turn us over, but they forced us in our own turnovers because we got sped up. And then about a 4-minute stretch in the third quarter when we were starting the third quarter only down like 11 or 13. And those two stretches, about a 10-0 run and about a 12-0 run, put us down 25, and there's your ball game.
Well, we played Leeton earlier in the year, and we pressed them, and they pressed us, and that was the exact same thing. There was about 6 minutes of basketball that turned that from being a tied ball game to about a 15 to 16-point ball game. And we hurt ourselves more than they hurt us. And I think we've learned from it, and I think it'll make us better in the future because of it.
And Schwartz comes off a screen and gets a wide open look. She's got all 9 of the points for Cass Midway in this first quarter. 1:19 to go in the first quarter. Get it off for Carney. Carney has it now to Phoenix into the corner for Hunt, who knocks one down. I haven't called her name much, kind of like a role type player.
Yep. And
she's able to knock it down for 3, and it's a 25-9 lead. Little dribble drive. And a rebound by James. Gets it off for Phoenix.
She did everything in her power to try to go back court with that.
Yes, I was watching that.
Very close.
David gets a rebound, and I believe is, maybe it said fouled. I didn't see what the call was there. Kick it in on the wing. James into the corner, Phoenix. Phoenix out of the corner over to Carney. Carney goes free throw line and a travel.
We've seen a lot of those calls today. Not just in this game, but all game long. I know the ones that we weren't broadcasting, but the stream was up. There was a lot of people moving feet before they started dribbling.
You know, and here, coming from a coach perspective, and I know the shortage of officials, and I know everything that they have to go through, and they're working several games a night, and they're working every night of the week. That is one call, and there's a bucket right there by Dean. It makes it 25-11, first person to score other than Schwartz in this one. But that's the most inconsistent call there is in high school basketball. Yeah. You'll have a group of officials, and that is a long distance
from the volleyball. Oh, I didn't realize the time was almost up. I was like, volleyball line 3.
25-11. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout. We'll be back. We'll finish that conversation about that call after this.
Before every big purchase, you have to prepare. Prepare the easy way by calling Harrisonville's Farmers Insurance agent, Brad Sainer. Brad will make sure there are no holes in your coverage and take care of you with any lives mishaps. Prepare for great insurance coverage by calling Brad Sainer at 816-974-8105. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum.
All right, welcome back. So we were talking about it, that feet shuffle or that first step shuffle. I feel like today it's been called a lot.
A lot.
And now we've got different officials now than we had a little bit ago, but still, that's the one. It was called in our game, and I'm not going to be the one to say they call it on my team. I know that we're not as fundamentally sound as we need to be, but we'll go a couple of games, and it's never called.
Mm-hmm.
So then you get in a situation like today, and it was called like 6 or 7 times, and the kids don't understand, and I don't sometimes at all either. And I've tried to teach them, like, you got to dribble as you're moving. You cannot move a foot and then dribble. They're going to call it for you. And it's just that call drives me nuts, and it probably does you as a coach.
Yeah, because sometimes it seems like if you pick that foot up, they call it. Sometimes it seems like you can pick it up, and then you start to push off, and they'll call it. And then sometimes it doesn't seem to matter when you put the ball on the ground. They're not going to call it at all. So I think, honestly, though, sometimes it comes back down, to the official. But also, some kids just look more natural with the ball in their hands than other kids do. And I think sometimes if it passes the eye test, they won't call it. But if it doesn't quite pass the eye test, then that's when you start seeing it a lot. And number 30 from Miami today, it wasn't passing the eye test for the officials. I think they called him like 5 times on that.
And then on my team, Hunter Wharton got it called several times for him as well.
But you are right. We do have different officials for these last 4 games, so we'll have to see if that's something that continues or not.
And I know they always have points of emphasis. That would be one I wish they would start having a point of emphasis on. That long 3-0, good offensive rebound by Atkinson. She had a couple on this series.
Yep.
And it goes back the other way. Stays 25-11, 7:14 to go here.
I don't want to turn this into, talking about officiating all the time and what they do and what they don't do. But one of the points of emphasis this year was supposed to be hand checks. But I'm not seeing that being called any more than anywhere else, like last year.
Well, I've had that conversation with a couple of coaches, and we've said that's the one we want it to get consistent because early in the season, it was getting called, and it benefited us greatly because I'd already talked to my boys, and that is one fundamentally sound thing. There's a layup the other way by Hunt, 27-11. That is fundamentally sound things that my kids have done is they move with their feet and not with their hands because I taught that in the offseason.
Which so did we because we thought it was going to be that issue.
But then you'll get into a game and a team's doing it to you. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And so we got it called a couple of games, though, and we got a couple of teams got in foul trouble because of it. But overall, it's
and it's not that they're doing a horrible job at it because I think they're being consistent. Either they're letting it go or they're not. It's not like it's all over the place, at least in the games that I've seen. But it is one of those deals where they're either going to have to decide that is a foul or let it go because there are certain times where it seems obvious to me that it doesn't get called, and then other times not so obvious and it gets called. So
Great take by Dean from the wing right side. Dribbles in, fouled, goes to the line for a pair here. 6:15 to go first half, 27-11.
Yeah, we played Midway twice last year, and Dean is a completely different player than she was. I'm going to guess that physically she probably got stronger. It seems obvious to me that she's done some work with a basketball in her hand also.
Well, and games like this are going to build Midway up for a run later in the season and for next year, because just looking down the roster, they have one senior in Coons, and she didn't play against you guys last night, and they still did some things they wanted to do last night. Obviously didn't get the win, and you guys were able to shut them down in the second half, so that just shows that they're building up as well over there.
You are 100% correct. And as long as Jesse Richardson is their coach, they will always be fundamentally sound, and they will do a lot of the little things correctly, just like that.
Throw it inside to Whitecraft. She can't knock it down, but she'll go to the line again for a pair.
See, in a year or so, I'm not sure what grade Whitecraft is in, but, as she grows too, she'll finish that.
Yeah, she's a freshman.
Yeah.
So
I knew she had to be at least a sophomore just by the way she plays, but.
Well, I'll tell you, that was one of the things with your group of girls. I was talking to somebody, it was off the air, we talked about how you build a program, and somebody was like, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of, and it was about Drexel girls, and they're like, yeah, we don't have a whole lot of, younger girls, you got Izzy, and I said, but I go, here's what I said about it, and I likened it to Harrisonville football when they were on their run throughout the early 2000s. You have games like you had the other night where your bench girls played more than your varsity your starters, and it's games like that that create a situation in Schwartz with another bucket, and slowly chipping away here. It's 25 or 27 to 15, back to a 12-point game. And they don't realize how valuable it is, Francis, for you.
Yeah.
She's getting valuable minutes, and there's a triple the other way by Hunt. She's got a couple of them in this game.
No, Francis is going to be a good player for us down the road. She still is not playing at her full speed. She's probably the fastest. Her and Josie Parks, if you watch them in wind sprints, it is a race. Like, I'd pay money to watch that race. It's so competitive, and they are super fast. But you're correct. I mean, I told you off the air that we had to put our starters back in the fourth quarter in the first round of this game, our first round of this tournament, because our subs were exhausted because they had played so much, and in years prior to that, we didn't have those opportunities. So it's nice to be able to give those girls some minutes, because you just can't quite simulate games in practice. I don't care how good you are. You just can't.
Nope.
So to have that under your belt, it goes a long ways.
And it's even harder at the Class 1 level than in other levels. There's a jumper, no good by Burchett, but McCuston with a putback, no good. And it's Dean, baseline jumper, no good. Rebound inside, fall for McCuston, steals it away, gets another one. Tried to get it off, but falls to the ground. They're going to call the travel, going to go back the other way with 4:47 to go.
And that's that youth I was talking about. She's going to start finishing those, and she's going to be a solid ball player. So, that's just some of the growing pains. As a coach, if you stick at one school long enough, you're going to go through them. And right now, Jesse's going through a little bit of that. But his girls are giving it everything they got and cutting into this lead a little bit.
Oh, hard to the ground. They're going to call the blocking foul on Miller there. Well, we talked about, how will fatigue become a factor, and I already see it on both teams.
Yeah.
Those shots are falling early, in that, early
slowing
adrenaline.
down. Yeah.
A lot of short arms, or it's coming off the front of the rim, a little bit of tired. That press isn't as flashy as it was there in that first quarter. So.
Well, also when you enter a press, there is something about getting deflections and steals that keeps that adrenaline pumping. But when another team starts breaking that press, then that adrenaline isn't pumping as much. The crowd isn't hype. You're not getting layups, and then it does slow down a little bit there. So, and Midway is starting to do a pretty good job of breaking the press. But we'll see how long they stay in it.
30-15 our score with 4:20 to go here first half.
KIPP has a really big bench numbers-wise, but they really only play around 8 girls.
Yeah,
So
about an 8-man or 8-woman rotation,
Yeah.
I should say. So a foul inside. We got a timeout on the floor. We'll take a timeout as well. 4:10 to go first half. 30-15 the score.
At Rise Community Services, we believe in giving individuals the opportunity to increase their skills, empower their choices, and achieve their dreams. Our team provides opportunities that create perfect lives with inclusive programs connecting individuals to their community.
Hey, I'm Travis. I took a shot with Rise and it was a slam dunk.
We good? All right, welcome back. 4:10 to go here first half. 30-15 is our score. And get it in for Phoenix. Up front they go for McDonald. Now off for Atkinson.
It looked like they were trying to set up that 3 in the corner.
And
there's
now
that travel we were talking about.
There's been a lot of travel, so I'm gonna say they ventured to, maybe that's something they discussed in the locker room, so to speak, did the officials, and it has been point of emphasis today for sure. Underneath McCouston, no, a little bit hard on that one, but chased down in the corner by Dean. Out of the corner to Burchett. Burchett's got top of the key over to the wing for Schwartz. Schwartz kicks off for Dean. Dean goes and puts it up no good. And it goes to Kearney up ahead to Phoenix, who tries to finish, and they call it for the offensive foul. Now, I'm going to go back to Dean's dribble drive.
Yeah.
That looked like the most blatant of all of the travel. They didn't call something.
I would agree with you.
I didn't know if I was the only one that see that.
But the other part of that I was thinking about too is last year she wouldn't even have taken that shot. And this year she's grown enough to where she goes in there and she's trying to hit those shots. So, but yeah, it is one of those things. I always tell the girls that you're not going to get every call, and the officials are human too, and they're going to make mistakes. And the good ones will tell you, hey, I screwed that up. You know,
there have been a couple of times I have seen an official and had one situation in this game or this week where an official came over and said, sorry, that was my fault.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because he covered his mouth when he said it, and then everybody was cool.
Yeah,
you could tell, no more arguing.
He's like, and that's what you say. I tell my kid, this is what I tell my kids, and it's probably something similar you've said to your girls before. They go to the free throw line, McCouston, jumper, no good, rebound by Kearney, and they're going to go back the other way. We'll get to it in just a minute here. 2:35 to go, back between the circles. Get it off on the wing. Dribble drive by Atkinson, and then he kicked away. What I tell them is, if you go after a game and you're trying to point out a call that an official made that cost you the game, you didn't make enough plays yourself to win that game. It should never come down to anybody else or anything. You should be able to go at the end of a game, and there's another triple by Phoenix, and it's 33-15. You should be able to, at the end of the game, have had 5 or 6 mistakes and still win by 6 or 8 and not have that worry.
I always tell the girls, if you can give me more examples of officials' mistakes, more so than the free throws you missed as a team, then I'll listen. Otherwise, I'm not interested in having that conversation.
And they always go back. It's funny because then every kid, every adult, every fan always goes back to one call.
Yeah, one call.
Don't you remember that? That would change the whole game.
But we shot 7 of 18 from the line.
Right.
And lost by 2. Unfortunately, I think we've all been there too.
I had a game last year. We were up 18.5 We were up 20 in the second half, first part of the second half. Tanner Anstein, my best player, had 37 in the first half.
Dang.
He had 41 for the game. He stopped shooting, and we got beat.
Oh, you got beat.
Yeah.
Because I've done that to Wheeler. I'm like, hey, we're shutting it down, but we didn't get beat.
And I didn't shut him down. And he kind of stopped, and we started turning it over, and then the excuses started coming, and they started happening. We got beaten overtime, and in the locker room, they were complaining about the officials. I go, guys, the officials didn't give up a 20-point lead and missed 7 free throws in the fourth quarter.
Absolutely. No.
There's another one, no good. 33-16, first one was good.
You know, one of the things we're starting to see, too, you know, pressing teams, people don't talk about this a lot, they will commit fouls because they are, you know, moving so quickly. And they've already got at least 10. I wasn't keeping track, but their Midway is in the double bonus. We'll have to see if in the second half that comes back, if they get into foul trouble or not.
So Kearney dribble drive there. The foul called on. Oh, they called that on Parks. I thought that was going to be McCouston. They called it on. They called it on Parks. Free throw goes. 34-16 the score with 1:49 to go here. First half. Second one, no good. Rebound finally pulled down by McDonald and loses it out of bounds in the corner.
I will tell you, we do have a good crew of officials for the last 4 games. Not saying that the first 4 games we didn't, but I've had several of these and some pretty big ball games in my history in this area, and they're pretty consistent. So we should have some good ball games coming up.
The one I'm the most familiar with, there's a 3 in the corner by Kearney, no good. Of course, Carlos Boyd.
Yeah.
The second one is good, 36-16 the score.
Boyd is one of my favorite officials, and not because, you know, he gives us a bunch of calls or anything, but he is super consistent with everything. And my girls get comfortable because they know what's going to be what the entire time, and they don't have to worry about, you know, it changing as the game progresses. So
the rebound going to push the other way. Atkinson, oh, she wanted that corner, and then she was like, wait, I want to go inside. No, I want to, took one too many
She
steps.
did that in the last game, too, and I think she had the exact same facial expression when she did that. But she's a good player.
Hunt in there, Atkinson. They got a Phillips in there. Didn't get any. I don't know that I've seen her
I
in
was
the
just
game.
going to say that. I just looked at her name in the program because I don't think she played the last game.
Get it off on. I don't know that I've seen her yet in one of the games. Phillips goes top of the key for McDonald. Now to Phillips. Little cut. Good move. Oh, Hunt can't finish. That was a great kind of give and go.
Absolutely.
Cutter.
They make me eat crow talking about their half court might be their weakest part of their game because that was a beautiful play.
Now a reach-in foul. Now here's where you start seeing maybe the legs of Midway come into effect. A lot of reach-in, and they're trying. Their legs aren't catching up with the rest of them.
You know, they got that thing. I believe it was down to 12. I know you got the stats, but I know it was at least 15, and now it's pushed to 20.
It was 27 or 27-15. Yeah, they had it to 12.
To 12, okay.
Now it's up to 20.
So they're going to have to get a stop here. You don't want to give up a bucket going into halftime with 3 seconds.
McDonald,
I thought she was going to bank that in. So
goes to the half, 36-16 the score. We're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back and run over the stats for the first half, and then we'll have a good interview with Rise that we took the other day, so you know a little bit about Rise. And coming up after the girls' championship and the boys' championship game, we'll have the Rise girls player of the tournament and Rise boys player of the tournament. We'll be back right after this.
Are you traveling far and wide looking for someone to service your vehicle and get new tires? Stop. The best place is right around the corner at Tilden's Quick Lube and Tire in Holden. Right on 58 Highway, they can get you in and out in no time and treat you like family. With 15 years in the business, Charlie and his staff will make sure you get taken care of honestly and fairly. So next time you need service, save the time, gas, and travel around the corner to Tilden's Quick Lube.
Everyone needs a little kickstart at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so head to Sonic of Harrisonville and kick away the afternoon fog. Grab an ice cold drink full of caffeine and kickstart your afternoon and evening. The best part, 2 to 4 is happy hour, and drinks are half price. Grab an afternoon snack of cheesy bites or jalapeno poppers, or order on the app for happy hour anytime. Sonic Happy Hour, where you kick away the fog. Also, visit 4ts.com and sign up for the Sonic Kick Return contest.
All right, welcome back. Our score at the half, 36-16, 20-point lead for KIPP Legacy Lady Gators. And really, it was a tale of 2 runs. I don't know if you heard me and Coach talking about it. We talked about runs, and I was talking about it in one of my games. We had a 3-minute stretch in the first quarter, a 3-minute stretch in the third quarter against Kingsville. It was really the difference in the game. And right now, I think if Coach Richardson, let's say this game was over and he went back and looked at it, he'd be like, well, it was these 2 runs that really cost us. 14-0 run in the first quarter by KIPP Legacy, a 9-1 run in the second quarter. Those are the 2. And that 9-1 run came after it was down to 12. And that 14-0 run, it was 6-5 at that point in time. So that really tells you right there, that's the difference in our ball game.
Yeah, so we'll see what KIPP does coming out, though, because in their last game, they pulled their press off. And so I'll be real curious if they did that because I knew they were playing on back-to-back nights or if that's just a strategy they use. But, you know, if you're Coach Richardson and you're in the locker room right now, you just got to chip into this lead in this quarter. You've got to win this third quarter to give yourself a chance to get back in this ball game. You don't have to make up 20 points in one quarter, you know, and we've found ourselves down over the years like that. I always tell the girls that you don't got to make it up. There are no 20-point baskets. So chip away at it, make a basket, get a stop. Even if you only get it down 8, then you'll be okay. But you just got to chip into it and see what happens.
On the Rise Up player of the game watch, Jasmine Phoenix with 14 to lead the Lady Gators, and 11 from Jaden Schwartz for Midway. So we are going to take an extended timeout, listen to that Rise interview, and we're going to sit out here and watch the all-hair team take their shots.
They are the all-hair team.
I'm telling you, we'll talk about that
I'm
a
a
little
little
bit
jealous.
We'll be back after this. Welcome back. Whoa, we do have an echo. We'll let him fix that. So we are here live at the William D. Gordon Holiday Tournament, Holiday Classic. One of our great sponsors this year is Rise. Misty, you're the director at Rise, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so explain Rise to all the folks that may not know what you guys do.
Sure. So first off, RISE stands for Respecting Individual Skills and Efforts. So we provide services to individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, not just within that scope, with a lot of other disabilities. A lot of our different services, the eligibility depends on whatever disability somebody may need. So we serve individuals throughout a lot of different opportunities through employment, residential services, day program services. If you think of how you live, play, and work, we are there to support you in all aspects of that of life.
So ways that they need help. So you do residential as well, you say? So you do the whole gamut.
Yep.
Okay.
So if you think of, the things that we take advantage of on a day-to-day basis of, just cooking, cleaning, making our bed, we're there to help them build that self-sufficiency so that they can do those things on their own. So we're there either 24/7 or we're there an hour a day.
Okay. So Jerry and I were talking about it a little bit last night. Harrisonville, we've worked with Casco. So some of our Harrisonville people that may be watching, that's kind of similar to what you guys do, correct? Except for you guys got the whole 9 yards. I think Casco does just a little bit of stuff during the day.
Yeah, so Casco, they're shelter workshops, so they do recycling there. They do a lot of manufacturing assembly jobs. Same thing that we do at our vocational center at 607 North Ridgeview there in Warrensburg. We transport all of our individuals to the vocational center for work, also to our day program. So our individuals that maybe are kind of transitioning from life skills, social skills, building those skills so that they can, grow into that employment. So we transport all of those folks throughout the entire Johnson County area to and from work and to the day program. not just inside of the vocational center, but we also do voc rehab services. So again, we can really serve a lot of variety of individuals with whatever abilities that they need and whatever level of support that they need.
So explain to me, like, you guys have the storefront. Now, what do you put those individuals in there to work, or how does all that work, or what do you sell and stuff like that?
So thanks for bringing that up. So part of our vocational center, our employment skills, is our Rise Rack store. So it's over in Hawthorne Plaza in Warrensburg. So it's a thrift store. So when you donate to our services, that's an employability skill. So our folks work in our store and they work in our cafe. So we do a lot of catering out of the vocational center. You call us, we can support with group meetings. We do box lunches. So those employees work in our kitchen, work in the store. They're engaging with customers. It's that community inclusion, building that self-sufficiency through a variety of different services, building confidence and competency so that they can be, happy and create lives.
And it's awesome on both sides, because a lot of times, the folks you work with, they get forgotten about a little bit by some people. So you're able to help them get through everyday life between living, with working, social skills, and a lot of places don't have services like that. So it's really awesome to hear about it. I knew a little bit about it, but just even up here, us talking about it, it's really awesome that you can offer all of that.
Yes, and I will say, we currently serve 90 individuals from all the services that we provide, and we want to make sure that people know about us, because sometimes people don't know that they need us. And so just call us, 660-747-7990. We don't just serve Johnson County with employment. We also serve the Cass County, the Henry County area, so we do branch out through our voc rehab services. Also our school transition services. I know that we're a lot of folks that might be tuning in, might be, the parents of some of these kids playing. And so if you have an individual that maybe needs support during the summer with a job, we can help you even at the youth level.
Let me ask you a couple questions. Number one, how many folks can you actually help with what you have in place now? You say you got 90 individuals. How many up to can you go to?
As long as we can staff it, we'll keep growing. So you can also come and grow and be as part of staff.
And then how do are you able to fund that, and how can people help you guys?
Oh, good question. So we're funded through Medicaid. We're also funded through the county tax funds, through Johnson County Board of Services. And then we, as a support, you can either shop in our store, that's investing in the services and the individuals. You can come in and eat in our cafe as part of those meetings. You can donate to us, and then you can also just always do volunteer work or just monetary. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get some more information from you, and that we can share the next couple of days. That way we can get people out there and involved with it. Yeah. So it's a great to see. I know you want to get back to watching a basketball game. You may or may not have somebody down there you want to go watch. If you see Misty here, and if you watch the game, the Chilhowie game, you'll probably know who her daughter is without even asking. So, nevertheless, Misty, it was great to have you up here, and we appreciate your time. And we will. All right, welcome back. 8 minutes on the clock, 36-16 is the score. And it is KIPP Legacy ball to start the second half in this one. Have it on the wing, into the corner for Hunt. Out of the corner, top of the key. On the left side was McDonald. Now back out front they go for Hunt. Now to McDonald, into the corner for Carney. Carney back out top. That is Atkinson for three, no good. And the rebound going to go back the other way.
She's strong. She shot that like a free throw.
It was, yeah, just a little bit of a jump. Now Burchett back the other way makes it 36-19 with a triple from her. She's been very quiet today.
Yeah, I think Midway to claw their way back in here. Not only are they going to need some shots like that, but they're going to need some defensive stops, because if they get some defensive stops, then KIPP can't press. And they won't have to go just those 2 possessions. They don't have to fight through the press.
And a blocking foul on McDonald. So 7:01 to go here in the third.
You know, I was going to say something a little bit earlier about Black, number 3. She kind of was wincing, and she's not out there right now. So I wonder if maybe she didn't roll an ankle, because I didn't want to speculate it earlier in the second quarter, but she's not playing right now, so we'll have to see.
She hasn't played a lot. I don't think she played in the second quarter.
No,
either.
Well, it was probably about 2 to 2.5 minutes. I noticed that she came off at a timeout. It looked like she was in some pain, but not starting the second half maybe not bode well for them.
Well, and Phillips is out there again, who we hadn't seen before, and there's no Phoenix out there.
No, Phoenix
so
and Black
they're
are
2
out.
scorers. Now, that being said, the thing that I wonder about is, you know, we're talking about building a program. This is only the second year for KIPP Legacy, and there's a turnover back the other way. Schwartz got it to go, and it is 36-21. And it goes back the other way after Schwartz hits another bucket. She's got 13.
So I can get behind the argument of letting some other people play, but I really think if healthy, I would have had my starters out there to add to that lead by at least 5 to 6 points, so that then started playing some people.
Well, and I think it's always important that with your starters, you know, even if you're up, I mean, even 30 or 40 at halftime, you've got to still start your starters in that second half for a couple, 3-4 minutes to let them get a feel. Maybe not 4, but, you know, a couple, 2-3 minutes, get them a feel before you pull the plug on it.
You know, and then there are different philosophies. I talked to Coach Roach about that in his first round game against you guys. He came out in the second half and started his JV. They played the whole entire second half. So, and they're not pressing. KIPP's not pressing on that made basket. So we'll have to see what happens. This could get interesting.
$38, 21. They go free throw line. McCouston, no good. Carney with the rebound. It's going to go back the other way.
You know, she's about 4 inches from having about 12 points on those shots. So she's drawing rim on and just not quite falling.
They're just a little shorter, a little long each time. You know, McDonald with it into the corner, back out front. That is Atkinson with it, needs to get some help, get it between the circles for Hunt, and she steps on the out of bounds line and back. Oh, and here comes Black back into the game, and a little bit of a hobble even coming back in. You see that?
Yeah, maybe. I, like I said, I hate to speculate, especially on injuries, but her not starting that second half kind of made me wonder. We'll see how she does with the ball in her hand here.
Schwartz with the turnover on the travel, and back to the way. 4:20 to go here in the third. 38-21 the score. Crossover by Hunt into the paint. Floater, no. But a good offensive rebound by Carney, and it doesn't fall. But Burchett there to pick it up for Midway and back the other way. Burchett off now to Kuntz inside. They go. Now hand off to Burchett, no good. And McDonald with the rebound. Back the other way. Back to Black between the circles, guarded by Whitecraft. Now underneath for Carney, can't get it to fall. He goes to the free throw line.
Yeah, Black looked pretty good there with the ball, so she might be all right.
And somebody else not in the game for Midway, Dean.
She was in there earlier, wasn't she?
I don't know if
Maybe she didn't start the second half.
So 3:42 to go. The free throw by Carney.
Maybe these coaches are just trying to confuse us.
That's a very good possibility. 39-21. They're wanting to make sure we're working and paying attention, I think. First free throw good by Carney. Find her here.
No, Carney had a really good score in that in the first round.
Yes.
I don't know that she had as many points as second round, but she was a big reason why they pulled away in that first round game and won.
Into the corner for Whitecraft. Spins to Miller. Back to Whitecraft. Out 3-ball. Schwartz. No. Rebound by Carney. She's looking ahead. And that one's on the turf. Good hustle play right there by Schwartz.
I'm telling you, I'm super impressed with Schwartz in this tournament.
You know, those are the plays when you talk about a player that becomes an all-around player and they become a star player, so to speak. Those are the plays you got to make to become that type of player. That was a dive across the floor, knock it away.
Yeah, and it dead ball out of bounds. No fanfare there, but those are the sort of things that get your teammates jacked up, gets the crowd jacked up, gets everybody on the same page. And if that doesn't cause you to get some energy, you need to check your heartbeat.
Dean to Schwartz and gets ripped away from her. Going to go back the other way. Phoenix back in there. Corner 3 by Hunt. No. Rebound by Burchett. Burchett's got it, and it goes back the other way. Into the corner. Out of the corner to the wing. Handoff on the wing for Dean, who's back in there now for Midway. Up front for Whitecraft to Miller. Miller cuts across. Now drops off for Schwartz. And Schwartz on the ground there. Scrum for it. Saved by Burchett.
Down 18 points, and they're still going hard.
Got it inside out. Knocked away. Picked up by Dean. Now off for Whitecraft. Whitecraft now kicks it corner for Schwartz. Out of the corner, between the circles, over Burchett, 3-ball. Great patience on, and there's a timeout on the floor. Before we take a quick timeout, sometimes this is what I'm trying to instill in my kids, and you know how hard this is. Hey, sometimes you may have to pass it 15 times. It's going to come back around, and you're going to have that open shot, and that was a perfect example
and
of
the other team can't score without the ball. As long as you have it, they can't score.
Exactly. All right, we'll take a timeout. 2:01 to go, third.
Everyone needs a little kickstart at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so head to Sonic of Harrisonville and kick away the afternoon fog. Grab an ice-cold drink full of caffeine and kickstart your afternoon and evening. The best part, 2 to 4 is happy hour, and drinks are half price. Grab an afternoon snack of cheesy bites or jalapeno poppers, or order on the app for happy hour anytime. Sonic Happy Hour, where you kick away the fog. Also, visit 4ts.com and sign up for the Sonic Kick Return contest.
All right, 39-24, 15-point game with 2:01 to go here in the third quarter. You know, we talked about legs and if they'd come into factor here. If you notice my stat sheet on my running score,
it's getting a lot shorter.
Got short. It's starting to look like if I flipped it over, it kind of looks like a cell phone.
Signal.
Signal.
Yeah.
It was really long in the first quarter. Second quarter was a little bit shorter. Third quarter is even shorter now.
Well, I don't think they did what Coach wanted them to be doing right there.
Coach Commons is not happy. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back after this.
One of the most important decisions you make is who cuts your hair. Don't trust just anyone. Trust Josh and the crew at Fades. From a simple cleanup to a full cut. Or maybe you need to look extra good for the big game with a design. They will take care of you. Coach Grammer trusts the guys at Fades, and so should you.
Located
just behind Sonic off the wire.
Ahead with it to Phoenix. Back to Black, 1:54 to go here in the third quarter. Black with it outside, crossover dribble, tries to get in the paint, kicks it in the corner. Phoenix back out front to Hunt. Hunt now gets it over for Phillips, who knocks it in for 3.
That's a big bucket for a girl who has not played very many minutes this tournament.
I was thinking the same thing.
And then she fouls her on the other end.
And another strong drive by Schwartz the other way. Yeah, I was just looking down, and, you know, she hasn't played that much, and I was thinking to myself, I think that was Phillips. I was like,
yeah.
I'm trying to memorize that one. Everybody else we've called for 3 games, and free throw good.
You know, talking about their legs, though, that's something that as a coach you got to have to work through. We went to a summer camp a couple years ago, and it was the 8th game in 2 days, and I had my starters play the entire first half. I told them before the game even started, you guys are going to play the entire first half, no substitutions. And when we got to halftime, I said, how you guys feel? I feel better than I did before the game started. And I said, yeah, it's a mental thing. You got to get through that. Now I want to get you some subs in the second half, but I need you to know what that feels like.
Black ahead for Phillips, just misses that one a little bit too hard on the layup. Scrum for it. Schwartz out of there with it, going to come back the other way, 17-point game. And it looked maybe an arm bar, didn't see it, but going to call offensive foul. It's going to go back the other way with 1:09 to go.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, but he's pretty adamant that it happened, and I don't see an argument from Midway's bench. So, because you and I think, are wired the same way that if we thought we were wrong there, we'd let them know.
Yes. I may or may not have been a little unhappy at the end of the third quarter last night because of some 3-point calls that might, or 3-second calls that hadn't been called.
Yeah.
And you know, part of that was probably just the fact that my 6'2" kid couldn't stop the 6'8" kid.
True.
But I was like, hey, I think there might have been a little bit extra in there. We'll see. He promptly told me to go coach my team, not worry about it.
Yeah.
Get it in the corner, 3-ball on the way, no good. A little bit long by McDonald. Rebound by Phoenix. Now off to McDonald.
I like how she took that 3 the first time and then the same time got that pass, could have taken it, passed it up, and then took it to the hole.
You know, what I like about what Coach Cobbins has done with this group of girls, we got about 39 seconds to go here in the third, we got free throws coming, is they're playing all the positions. Mm-hmm. McDonald has kind of been their post, but there she was out on the wing, and then we had Phoenix inside almost running the post. They're all playing all the positions, which I think is going to, you know, be helpful as we talk about them growing over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I think he's running. I obviously, as a coach, you do a lot of research and watch a lot of videos and things like that. It looks like he's running a positionless offense, and but it's very, very helpful to get everybody to understand what everybody else should be doing, and then they can start anticipating what other positions are doing.
43-25 the score after 1 of the 2 from the line for McDonald. Inside they go to Whitecraft, cannot connect, then it goes back the other way.
Yeah, I think number 3, Black, is Ingles, is just fine. She's moving very well with the ball right now.
Looking for one last shot.
7 seconds.
Kick in the corner, McDonald, no, and that will end the third quarter, and it's 43-25. We'll take a timeout. We'll be back with the fourth after this.
One of the most important decisions you make is who cuts your hair. Don't trust just anyone. Trust Josh and the crew at Fades. From a simple cleanup to a full cut. Or maybe you need to look extra good for the big game with a design. They will take care of you. Coach Grammer trusts the guys at Fades, and so should you. Located just behind Sonic off McGuire. Go see them today or visit their Facebook to set up an appointment.
All right, 1 quarter to go in the third place game. This is game 5 of the day, and this is game 21 of the week.
I'm surprised you can still count that high.
I tell you.
You've been working a lot harder than I have this week, and I'm exhausted.
I definitely have done a little bit of double duty this week, but hey, give me 3 days in the gym. I love it.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was telling somebody. It's like, I can't complain about being too tired because I'm watching basketball for 3 straight days or 3 full days, and I'm good with that.
So 43-25, we're here in the fourth quarter. We go inside, no good. Burchett with it. Comes back the other way. Has it free throw line, dumps it off, now kicks it back. 3 ball on the way by Kuntz. Knocks it in, 43-28.
Kuntz is one of those shooters, too. She can get streaky if she get hot.
They need a couple more of those from her.
But they got to get some stops.
Got to get the stop, but Phoenix says, no, I'm going to go ahead and knock this one down, make it 45.
And here comes the press again.
28. Almost had the turnover, but falls to the ground there. And
bring Schwartz back in, help with the press, and Dean to help with the press break, I think.
So we may have some folks from KIPP Academy listening. If they are, and maybe they'll comment to Jerry over on the chat, is I don't know if we were talking about this on the air earlier or if we were off the air, but I want to know where the nickname Gators came from and their logo came from, if there's some ties to Florida that have to go with that or not. That one, no good. It's going to go back the other way.
By far the coolest jerseys in the tournament.
100%. Little dribble drive, no, and it'll stay. It's going to go. Free throw line will be Hunt with 6:51 to go. (45-28) our score.
Yeah, Midway wants to get in it. They're going to have to get some buckets real quick and get a lot of stops.
And that'll help with a couple of missed free throws and go the other way. Into the corner, 3 ball,
Best
good.
shooter.
Another triple, and there's a timeout on the floor. Where it is, Kuntz there, and it's 45-31.
Best case scenario right there, and those back-to-back possessions for Coach Richardson.
Quietly back to 14. We'll be back right after this.
Before every big purchase, you have to prepare. Prepare the easy way by calling Harrisonville's Farmers Insurance agent, Brad Sainer. Brad will make sure there are no holes in your coverage and take care of you with any lives mishaps. Prepare for great insurance coverage by calling Brad Sainer at 816-974-8105. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum,
All right, welcome back. 6:42 to go here in the fourth. It's a 14-point game. A couple of quick threes by Kuntz has creeped them back to within 14. These are situations, Coach, where I like to tell my kids in the timeout, let's win this next 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You can get it under 10 with 4 to go. Then you can win the next 2 minutes. You got to win segments now. You can't win quarters.
Yeah, and you got to chip away. And, you know, I don't even care about how many you win the next 2 minutes, but you got to win it. And hopefully it'll get contagious, and you can get that down if you're on that losing side right now, and then you see what happens.
All right, they get it in the backcourt to Black. A little bit of pressure applied by Midway, and Black's able to break it. Goes between the circles with 6:30 to go here in the fourth quarter.
I don't think we've seen anybody press KIPP yet this tournament.
Underneath is McDonald, and she dribbled on the end line, and now pressure going to be applied by KIPP here.
I will tell you, most good pressing teams usually break the press pretty well because they practice against it a lot.
So Schwartz underneath Kuntz. And she has 8 in the fourth quarter, and it's 45-33, back to 12. Ahead they go to Atkinson. She's able to chase it down in the corner, brings it back up. Now between the circles for Phoenix. Little dribble drive by her. No, she'll go to the line for a pair with just under 6 to go.
As a coach, that's not the look you want to give up there. But if she happens to miss the second free throw, they absolutely need to get this rebound.
45-33, and Phoenix at the line for 2. She's got 16 in the ball game. Leaves that one just a little bit short. One more to go here. Second one good. 46-33.
Good pass.
Cross-court pass, breaks the press, underneath, wide open Schwartz, and missed that one. Just short-armed it a little bit, gonna go back the other way. Left it a little short, and that's a leg. That's a third day of a tournament, late game legs right there. 46-33.
Yeah, I would much rather be in KIPP's situation right now than Midway situation, having to claw back with this being the third game of the week, because you can slow things down a little bit if you need to and get a little bit of a cushion here. So Midway's going to have to push real hard to get back into this.
Get it out to Black, and she's going to try to go coast to coast. Misses, and then off of Midway out, and it'll stay with KIPP.
Thought there was a little bit of confusion on who that was out, but I thought it was pretty obvious from up here. I will tell you, this is the best seats in the house. You get the perfect angle to see everything going on.
You definitely see, and it's funny, I broadcast a little differently now than I used to because I coach as well.
Yeah.
It amazed me once I took that job at Chilhowie and I started watching basketball. I started watching, what set are they running?
Yeah.
Oh, they're in a 2-3. Oh, wait, they're running man, or what kind of press break is that, or what kind of press is that? You start trying to pick up things as you're doing it.
Absolutely, because I'm always scouting, right, and I'm always looking and seeing what other people are doing, and you might see a little bit different rotation on somebody's zone, and like, oh, you know what, I have the personnel, we might be able to pull that off and take a little bit from this team, take a little bit from that team, and make it your own.
Great press break that time, and again the ball falls just a little short a couple of times, and it goes back the other way. So it was at 13, and a 3 makes it 16. And this is where also the 3 ball has changed, not only, but just in general basketball, because, I remember, and even when it was the 3 ball was introduced at high school, and I remember when I was in high school, a three-pointer wasn't something that you practiced.
No.
It was, if you hit a couple of those a game, it'd be great. And now it's a weapon.
Just an added bonus.
Yeah.
Back when I played,
And now, now you've got it where we just talked about it. You had that 3, you got it to 13. Well, a couple of shots the other way that are 3s, it goes right back to 19.
Right.
And you're like, oh, that
right.
worked over a minute and a half.
Yeah, give it right back,
yeah.
And KIPP is a good three-point shooting team. They don't rely on one person to do it. They've got 3 or 4 athletes out there that can absolutely nail that shot. And you can't give them any cushion.
Get it off on the wing. Whitecraft kicks it off for Schwartz off her foot, though, and it's going to go back the other way. Ahead for Hunt, and knocked away by Burchett. Good hustle play by her. And with 4 minutes to go, it's a 16-point game for KIPP. Have it between the circles, get it off on the wing. Try to get it to Phoenix, and then it is tipped away from her, picked up by Miller. Jump ball goes to KIPP Legacy.
I think it's Midway's ball.
Oh, so it will be. Yeah, you're right. I looked down there and I was thinking that for some reason KIPP was going the other way, but
it's been a long week.
It is a little bit. 3:48 to go. 3 more exciting games to come, though. We got another third-place game and then a couple of championship games. Phoenix with another bucket. She's got 20 on the
She
night.
has had an outstanding evening.
And you know, while we're talking about it, it's a 51-33 game. You know, want to tell you guys, tell Mr. Mayfield, you, Kenny, you guys have put on a first-class show both years. I, as a coach, what you do for it. That was Schwartz again. It's 51-35. Back the other way, McDonald. She drops it in, 53-35. See, now it gets all excited.
Yeah. I can't talk.
Try to say something and.
Well, I know where you're ahead with that, and I appreciate the kind words, but I would say that having you guys here is the icing on the cake that makes this thing as top-notch as I feel like we're trying to accomplish. So I would also say thank you to you for coming out here and doing the job that you do. I personally have family members that cannot make it to the games that love the fact that you're broadcasting them and always want me to say, Tell that guy that was doing your basketball game, thanks. He did a great job,
Well,
so.
we appreciate that. One of the things Jerry and I, we've always prided ourselves on giving the best high school broadcast product in the Kansas City area. And I don't say that like as arrogantly, but
No.
People when people tell us that makes us know that we're doing the right things. And good example, Brian Williams, they call him B-Will, who's on Fesco in the morning.
Yep.
He is a board member for KIPP Legacy.
Oh, I did not know that.
He was here yesterday.
Oh.
And there's a dribble drive, no good.
There's
and
those legs again.
Out of bounds, a little bit short.
She don't miss that very often.
And he kind of called us over, and I didn't know who he was, and we started talking, and he told us who he was, and what the KIPP Legacy was about, and he was asking about, what do we use on our broadcast and stuff. He's a producer,
Yeah.
And he was like, I got to watch the game yesterday. It was a great product, and that's what makes it special for us to know that we are doing the right things, and we've got a good team. Jerry and I did it for years with Katie Radio, and Jerry and I got with him, and I said, hey, we did a couple of games, I think in 2015, and in 2016, district championship game for Harrisonville was against Grain Valley. I said, hey, let's get the band back together. Let's try a game. Well, we did that game. They won. Then they played in the quarterfinals against Webb City, and we broadcast it, and they won. Then they played the semifinals. That was the year they won their last state title in 2016. And then the following year, we did a little bit of basketball, and then the following year, we were like, hey, let's try this for the full season. And that was Jerry's first year of retirement, I believe, in 17. And so we did all the games, and the sponsors loved doing it. And ever since then, we've just been building our product. So we really enjoy it, and we've really gotten to like these events like this.
Absolutely.
Things like this, 3 days, basketball. You get different towns involved. We've got some Warrensburg sponsors. We get some Harrisonville sponsors. We've had some Drexel sponsors in the past, Miami, and all the different areas. So it's been really cool.
Yeah, and it's also one of those deals. I told you first day you were here, I don't know how many times I've watched the games from last year, even after the fact during the summer. I mean, we had some pretty cool memories last year and winning this in its inaugural season. Personally for me, it probably means a little bit more than anybody else, but I'd like to relive those moments, and I keep going back and watching it. So if you get one or two more views every once in a while and you can't figure out where it comes from, it's probably me late some night where I can't sleep watching the old tape.
Well, the good news is on that, from our perspective, is the way that YouTube counts viewership.
Yeah.
Even if you watch it over and over, it doesn't count it each time, which is awesome for us because then we're not like, because if we did that, we could probably hey, let's watch it again and again. But good example of the following from last year to this year. Our first day this year, we had 866 viewers.
Wow.
So it's grown.
Yeah.
And I didn't even look.
I did notice that almost every game had over 100 views.
And I didn't get a chance to look at yesterday's viewership, but I know that a couple of those games, Jerry, you may know.
Well, as Coach mentioned, there was only one game that it was either 86 or 96. Here I go screwing up the video, not having the camera where it's supposed to be, but everything was over 100 even today so far.
I too also didn't know about yesterday's count because I started my own game real fast and then I went to bed. I'm trying to get ready for today.
I drove home and I helped my wife pack a couple of things and then I went to bed.
And you have a lot longer drive than I do. I live 2 minutes from this gym, so I was in bed probably before you got home.
I took neither computer home last night, and I never do that.
53-38. Yeah, you just reminded me we've got to pack all this stuff up after the game tonight too.
Oh, that is true. Well, I'm hoping that we can bring home this trophy again tonight, and that probably energized me a little bit. I'll give you guys a hand.
Well, hey, if I see you down there, I'll be like, hey, get up here.
I'll scurry away.
So we got about 1:08 to go in this one. KIPP trying to hold on up by 15. Want to thank Coach Gordon for coming up and joining us. One of these days I'll get your name right every single time.
That's okay. Like I told you, I've been called worse.
This year I started calling him Coach Wheeler after Emily scored her 2,000 point. Last year I think I called you Coach Johnson.
Yeah, Johnson.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
And I guess I saw that somewhere and then I started going with it. I was like, good night.
Hey, I would much rather all the attention be on the girls than me anyway, so I'm good with it. You can call me whatever you want, but thanks again. I know we're running up with 30 seconds left in this quarter in this game. Thanks again for doing what you guys do. You bring this, like I said, I think it's the icing on the cake to make this top notch, and your broadcast is second to none in my book. So thank you very much.
Well, and we will talk with you, and we will make sure we get these handed out at the end of the girls and the boys game.
Absolutely.
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
So appreciate it. We got
Thank you
8
very much.
seconds as this one is winding down. As soon as it hits 0, we'll take a quick timeout, wrap things up after that, and that'll do it. Your third place winners, KIPP Legacy Lady Gators. We'll take a timeout. We'll be right back after this.
At Rise Community Services, we believe in giving individuals the opportunity to increase their skills, empower their choices, and achieve their dreams. Our team provides opportunities that create perfect lives with inclusive programs connecting individuals to their community.
Hey, I'm Travis. I took a shot with Rise and it was a slam dunk.
All right, final score 53-38. KIPP Legacy Lady Gators with a third place win. Very, very good showing by them to this week. 2-1 they go with a third place trophy. You know, Coach Gordon, I talked a little bit about it off the air, but I would have loved to have seen that matchup with Drexel. Athletes on both sides, see how that one would have went down. But final score 53-38. KIPP Legacy is our third place girls winner. We have the boys game between Lutheran and Windsor coming your way for third place. Then we will have both championship games, the girls championship, Lutheran versus Drexel, and then the boys between Drexel and Midway. And I'm expecting a big crowd for that one. Our Rise Up player of the game tonight, 20 points from Jasmine Phoenix. And join us for the girls championship game, and after the girls championship game and after the boys game and boys championship game, we will have our Rise and 4T's Holiday Classic players of the week for both the boys and the girls. We'll be back in just a little bit.